Hello, this is Team Local Impact, and for our project, we decided to look at how a company like Save the Bay keeps their employees motivated. So, to start, we collaborated with Save the Bay. They are a local nonprofit that has the goal of protecting and restoring Narragansett Bay. So they are focused on education, restoring the marine environment, and being advocates for the environment. So the why we were looking at Save the Bay is because they have the challenge of motivating employees in limited financial means. So they have a variety of employees that are volunteers. And how do you motivate uh, volunteers who aren't getting financial incentives is what we were going to be looking at. So now on to our outcomes and visions of this project. We hope to see how Save the Bay is motivating employees without financial incentives, and to also look at ways how they can improve on what they were doing and have more and be more motivational. So we're going to be looking at strategies for effective recruitment, retention, and engagement of these nonprofit employees. And of course, we want Save the Bay to be able to provide for their long-term vision that is sustaining the environment.
To get a deeper understanding of motivation at Save the Bay, we used a mix of research methods, including online research, custom surveys, and interviews. We began by reviewing studies and theories on motivation in the nonprofit sector, focusing on other organizations that, like Save the Bay, rely on a combination of paid staff and volunteers. This research helped us identify common challenges nonprofits face when it comes to keeping people engaged and committed, especially when financial incentives are minimal. This background gave us a helpful framework for understanding the unique factors that drive motivation in nonprofit environments. Based on our initial research, we developed a survey specifically for students involved with Save the Bay to understand the motivational factors behind their commitment to volunteering or working there. This survey included Likert scale questions to measure students' job satisfaction, organizational commitment, and perceived support, along with open-ended questions to capture their personal reasons for working in environmental conservation. This mix of questions allowed us to gather both quantitative data to identify patterns and qualitative insights into the individual motivations of younger volunteers and employees. To add more depth to our understanding, we also spoke directly to an intern on Save the Bay's team who shared insights into the organization's operations and team dynamics. These conversations showed us firsthand how Save the Bay fosters motivation, teamwork, and a shared sense of purpose among staff and volunteers. Hearing from the intern was essential to understanding how the organization builds engagement among people who are passionate about environmental causes, allowing us to develop more focused recommendations to strengthen recruitment, retention, and engagement at Save the Bay.
Now we're going to be diving into the analysis overview of our research. We're going to start off with some survey results, then we're going to go into our research results, and lastly, our interview with our intern at Save the Bay. Our first question that we thought was very important was, how important is personal fulfillment in your decision to volunteer? So 54.4% stated that is at least somewhat important. 27.3% stated that it is important, and 9.1% stated that it is very important. This shows us that in terms of motivation to volunteer with Save the Bay, they said that majority of people said it was at least somewhat important for them to feel some sort of fulfillment in their decision. Another question we asked was, how important is the desire to make a difference in the world or in others' lives in your decision to volunteer? Everyone said that it was at least somewhat important, which makes us realize that this is not just something that's a motivation for external factors and recognition. It seems as though it's intrinsically motivated with these volunteers because they view the task itself as the reward. They all have this sort of need to help make the world a better place, and this is something that motivates them in their decision to volunteer with Save the Bay. So this is an intrinsic form of motivation. And then next we see, do you feel a sense of belonging or community through your volunteering? So everyone said yes on this as well. Majority said that it was often or sometimes that they felt this, but it seemed like it was a very important sense of community that is being built through volunteering at Save the Bay. This also directly relates to one of our research case studies that we found called Volunteer Motivation. It stated that the need and desire to motivate increases as the volunteer feels more connected to its community and supported by the organization. And if they feel like the people around them are adding value to the mission itself as well. Next, we looked online for some research to find some challenges and tips to motivate through nonprofits. So some common nonprofit challenges that we found, just a summary of some of the most important ones that we found were that there's an unclear responsibility and tasks. There is a difficulty retaining and engaging donors. There's a hardship finding the right volunteers. There's hardness finding limited resources. And there's impact assessment, which is a lack of impact assessment. This kind of means like tracking the progress of the volunteers and seeing what impact they make afterwards through their work volunteering. Some tips to motivate would be promoting a healthy work balance, focusing on an end goal, communicating meaningfully, recognizing members, and tracking progress. We believe that these will be used in our recommendation with Save the Bay and help us strategize to help motivate and tackle on this organized behavior problem. Next, we are going to be going into our intern interview. So our intern is named Felicity Cruz. She's a senior at the University of Rhode Island. Her major is wildlife and conservation biology, and she was an intern at Save the Bay. She's about to go on to her second internship this summer.
So one of my good friends did the same internship that I did a year or two before me. So he told me about Save the Bay, and so that kind of made me want to intern for them. And what kept me motivated was the hands-on work with the animals that I was doing. I was an aquarist intern, which meant that I took care of all of the animals, which was really cool because it was so hands-on and I got to take care of them every day, and that really motivated me to work there. I do think it's hard because they are a nonprofit organization, so I think that maybe more fundraising opportunities. I know that every volunteer work, all the volunteer work I did for them was completely like free, and I didn't give them any money. I just helped them out physically, I guess. So, and I also don't know what their money situation is, but if that is what their goal is, to become bigger and more helpful, I think maybe some more fundraising ideas. I do think that my work was very impactful. I was actually with Save the Bay during their transition from their aquarium at First Beach in Newport to the one that they have now, a little bit in a different spot in Newport. And I think that I was very helpful with that transition. And once the bigger aquarium opened, it was really fulfilling to work with little kids that were coming in and help the animals out and just kind of further their mission.
Our team came up with a few recommendations that we believe will improve the organizational culture at Save the Bay. In order to sustain commitment and retain volunteers, we recommend highlighting data points that show workers how their efforts are impacting the environment. This will give volunteers a sense of fulfillment and give them statistical data that they can say they are a part of. Volunteer appreciation events can also be planned to show how Save the Bay values their volunteers and the positive impact they contribute to the cause. As a team, we also recommend that Save the Bay use social media to communicate their mission and share successes, stories, and personal testimonies when shared with the right audience. Save the Bay social media would attract people that are willing to help. This could help secure volunteers or sponsors for future goals, missions, or events. Lastly, our team recommends Save the Bay to coordinate fundraising and networking events to raise awareness and money for their cause. This would allow them to spread information about what is happening to the Bay and reach a greater audience.
Our research highlights that Save the Bay thrives on intrinsic motivation of its staff and volunteers, who are driven by a shared commitment to the environment, conservation, and personal fulfillment with a sense of community. While this passion sustains the organization, enhancing recruitment, retention, and engagement will be a key to strengthening its long term impact. By leveraging intrinsic motivators, fostering a strong team bond, recognizing contributions, and expanding fundraising efforts, Save the Bay can further empower its workforce and achieve an even greater success in protecting Narragansett's bays. These strategies will help the organization build resilience, grow its community, and continue to make a meaningful difference on our environment.